Hey, no joke. We want you and those around you to thrive loud. So stay inside and stay safe.
A third of the people love you, a third don't care about you, and a third hate you. So you concentrate on the third that love you and you go for it.
I think the greatest Achilles heel for leaders is they don't give themselves time to think.
So my journey is one of those, there are a lot of detours. There's a lot of going off on the side roads.
Thrive Out listeners, you're in for a treat. We're here with Jamal Mashburn, Jesse Itzler, the John Maxwell, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, New York Rangers great Mike Richter, Lisa Lampanelli, Mary Carrillo.
Oh, how nice.
I'm actually going through the practice of being an entrepreneur.
Pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and thrive loud.
Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
I love it.
Hey, Thrive Out listeners, Lou Diamond here. Hope you are doing well. And as Steve O'Brien said at the top of the show, staying safe. Wanted to follow up here on some admin notes. Please go check out Thrive Loud wherever you listen to your podcast. And specifically, you should head on over to Good Pods. You've probably heard a bunch of ads in previous Thrive Loud episodes about Good Pods, an amazing place to connect with others and listen to your favorite episodes and find out what your friends are listening to as well. A great way to share episodes and specifically hear great content, specifically episodes here on Thrive Loud. So definitely head on over to Good Pods. Also, check out on the thriveloud.com website more about Thrive Virtually. A lot of businesses are obviously working virtually right now and are trying to figure out how to do it better. And that's one of the programs we put together here at Thrive, is a chance for you to really maximize, be more efficient, connect most efficiently. We put all this stuff together. We even work with your sales teams and figure out ways that they can capitalize and connect better. So go check that out at thriveloud.com, the Thrive Virtually link up top. With that, here is a great episode with Ora Nadrich from the Bedside Reading Authors That Thrive podcast. She's awesome. She's an incredible coach, very well known and very well featured from the West Coast. We do a coast-to-coast interview here. You're really going to like my conversation with Ora here on Thrive Loud, pulled from the Bedside Readings Authors That Thrive podcast.
Welcome to Bedside Readings Authors That Thrive, a podcast show that provides you exclusive access to top writers around the globe and how they are thriving through their writing, their passions, and their lives. Here's your host, Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to Bedside Readings, Authors That Thrive, connecting you to amazing authors that are thriving through their work and in their lives each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today, we have the founder and president of the Institute for Transformational Thinking and author of Live True, a mindfulness guide to authenticity, named in the 100 best mindfulness books of all time by BookAuthority. She is a certified life coach and mindfulness teacher, specializing in transformational thinking, self-discovery, and mentoring new coaches as they develop their careers. Her rare combination of insight, intuition, compassion, and charisma has made her one of the most effective and sought-after coaches. Please welcome Ora Nadrich. Ora, how are you today?
Hi, Lou. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing really well. Thank you.
Ora, I had more fun talking with you before this interview started about everything to get ourselves and our pipes refreshed and reworked before we start chatting here. But let's stop talking about the way we were talking and let's talk a little bit about our minds, if you would. I want to ask you a question to start right out of the gate, and that is, what do you love about mindfulness?
Wow. I really am a lover of mindfulness. And, it's interesting because mindfulness has so become into the mainstream. And I love that because it gives me an opportunity to talk about how much I love it even more, and when it gets on the cover of Newsweek and Time, that it's made the cut. So you really basically take what is considered a 2,500-year-old practice, not just of Buddhism, but, it can be traced to a lot of the philosophies, the religions, if you will. And I like to think that it sort of reared its head when we became civilized human beings. And what does it mean to be a mindful human being, a thoughtful human being, which is really the essence of mindfulness. And mindfulness, its simplest definition is the practice of being present. Okay. So what I love about that is we're living in a time where we know it's pretty hard to stay present. Yeah. We are so distracted. We are so bombarded. We are so besieged daily with not everything that's going on social media, but there's distractions. There's a lot of chaos, as we know. There's just a whole lot going on. And I feel that mindfulness is the perfect antidote for us to be able to be reminded that we need to pause occasionally and really check in with ourselves and say, hey, how present am I? How in the moment am I in right now? Am I really showing up in this moment? Really present, really here.
As we try to be present right now in the moment, I want to be present and recognize a very astute differentiation. There's many leaders who are bringing mindfulness into the workplace. They're bringing mindfulness into their lives and trying to make it part of their everyday practice. And then there are amazing people like you who are helping to mentor coaches to help others bring mindfulness into their work. Talk about, I guess, the differentiation between helping people understand exactly how to be mindful and helping other coaches empower others to be mindful. And that's a definite differentiation. Do you not agree with me on this split?
I do. And thank you for that. And I appreciate you making that distinction. I have a program. It's pretty evergreen. It's a program that I have online, and it's a certification program, the Thought Coach program. And as a life coach for over 10 years, I realized that what I was doing when I was coaching people is that I was coaching them with their thoughts. We think between 40 and 70,000 thoughts a day, and a good percentage of them are negative. Okay. So I thought to myself, let me bring in this whole new niche of coaching, if you will, that really gets straight to the source of what really gets in our way. And that's our thoughts. So having created the Thought Coach Certification Training Program, which can train these coaches to become aware, again, and to use the word mindful, aware of the thoughts that we hold in our mind, and being able to discern between the thoughts that are what I like to call useful thoughts versus useless thoughts. Do you know?
Yeah.
So by mentoring and offering up this program for coaches to become certified in the Thought Coach program, it has become a game changer, because they not only become initiated, if you will, into the understanding of how to change our thinking, they then can go ahead and help others. So it's really a rippling effect. This is really truly how change happens.
As you embark on 10 years of doing this and recognizing that, I bet you there have been some changes from when you first started and how you thought about mindfulness to today. Do you think first of all, is that true, that the way you look at mindfulness might be a little different today than it was before?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you why, because the interesting thing, or rather fascinating thing about mindfulness, is it keeps evolving. So the more you practice it, you start to see the way in which not only does it have direct benefits in your life, but those benefits keep growing outward, if you will. And, saying the definition of it is the practice of being present. Well, just in the very beginning stages of that is I really learned to do, and I developed the strength, the skill, the ability to do that. I began to see how this evolves into the most extraordinary ways, and it changes your life in a myriad of ways. So today I am more enthralled and fascinated with the practice of mindfulness than I've ever been before.
So I'm a big fan, too, of authenticity and being genuine and recognizing that mindfulness is a way to get there. I wanted to hit you with, what are some of the hurdles that you see when trying to coach others or coach other coaches to help others? in trying to get to that path, what are the blocks that keep people from getting to that authentic path?
Well, I really loved, joining together mindfulness and the authentic self when I wrote my book, Live True. I hadn't seen that integration of present moment awareness, mindfulness, and then also the understanding of what it means to bring the authentic self into the present moment. I mean, you teach people just mindfulness alone, and sure, people can show up in the moment, but when you say you can show up in the moment, but don't you want to show up in this moment as your most authentic self, who you really are? So that's bringing a whole new layer to a mindful awareness of being present in a moment. And so, to answer your question, I think that the understanding of the authentic self really opens up a lot of areas, which I think has also been very helpful for people because, when you talk about the authentic self, well, we know well enough that who we are can be many things to many people. We can be who we are because we have to be a certain person or persona in our relationships, in the workplace, And so what I really offer up here is for people to understand how to be present and how to be true to who you are in every moment of your life by having an awareness, by having a mindful awareness and actively practicing mindfulness. I say you can catch yourself when you're about to be dishonest. You can catch yourself when you're about to say something that you don't really want to roll off of your lips. That's the beauty of mindfulness. It really helps you to have these aha moments and go, wow, I'm really being insincere, or I'm about to be insincere, which really is linked to the authentic self versus the inauthentic self. So this becomes a refined practice, if you will, that you become so vigilant, you become so hyper aware of being in the moment as, again, your most authentic self, that you're not going to want to be so quick to give that up.
Mm-hmm. Ora, I love digging into authors' mindsets on how they practice and how they put their work process into putting a book together. So to someone like yourself who actually has a training methodology and a practice, it might be pretty simple in getting it into the book form. But let's talk about the writing process for you. Did you have a ritual as you were putting your book together? Was there a set schedule, or did it go by when you had the available time to do it? I'd love to learn how you put together this package of a book that you're Live True.
Well, I'm a former trained screenwriter. I was an actress for 10 years, and then I sold a screenplay of mine during the time when I was an actress, and I was trained by one of the top screenwriters in Hollywood at the time. So I really became a very disciplined writer, and I feel that my creative juices really flow in the morning, if you will, meaning when I can literally put it down, as the written word. I can get spurts and bursts of creative energy, and if that comes to me during any time in the day, I'll try to pull over to the side of the road or jot something down so that I can maybe, think about putting that into my writing at the time the next day. So, I start the morning very disciplined that way. I'm a meditator, and I like to begin my ritual by starting my day in meditation and really clearing the mind, if you will. Just again, being able to discern between the thoughts that are useful and the thoughts that are distracting. And that ritual helps me tremendously to stay very present and very focused. And I think that when we do that, we open ourselves up as if like a channel so that you can download, if you will, creativity that just comes teeming through you, or can. I'm working on my third book, and I explored the writer's block in one passage of a chapter that I wrote. And I really tried to explore mindfulness and the creative process. And when we're really present, when we really show up, as I like to do, first thing in the morning, especially when I'm about to write, is that you open yourselves up and you are so much more receptive, if you will, to the creative process. So that's really my practice, I try to really support myself in being as present and as uncluttered or unfettered, if you will, in my mind.
I love asking this question of guests on the program. I want to see where this goes. I'm going to use a coaching term, yes and, here to make this very positive comment here. when you're having an off day and you have trouble thriving, what practice do you seek to help get yourself back on the thriving track? In addition to your meditation work, I want to know what you do to maybe when you had the writer's block or other things that are on your off days, or another activity you do other than mindfulness and meditation to get yourself back thriving.
Well, I really love the nurturing of self. So if I'm really feeling blocked or I'm feeling over heady, if you will, if I feel that there's a lot of thoughts teeming through my mind, I like to take a break. I like to go outside. I have this beautiful tree right in front of my house. I like to sit under it. I like to connect to nature. Nature really recalibrates me, and I feel that it realigns me to, again, the authentic self. Because in a Taoist sense, when we're aligned with the true nature of nature, we are more aligned with the true nature of our nature. So nature, literally, whether it's the ocean, I really resonate to the ocean. I immediately will take myself into some area where there's nature, and I'll just, focus on my breath, which is another really powerful and helpful exercise to use when you're feeling distracted or blocked. And I will do that. So I would say, Lou, that, connecting to nature is really big for me, especially if I feel like I'm, too much in my head, if you will.
Ora, is there one author, speaker, or content creator that you admire most?
Wow. I'm not a pick one person. I have to be really honest with you.
Fair enough.
I'm not a this or that person. I say I'm a this and that person. There's so many amazing authors that I really resonate. I have hundreds and hundreds of books. I'm a lover of books. I will go to my shelf and I literally will pick out a book, whether it's a poem of Rumi or it's philosophy, whether it's Nietzsche or Jean-Paul Sartre or Jung, Carl Jung, who's been a huge influence on my self-realization journey. My journey has been very psychospiritual. So for me, the greatest inspiration really are to go to a passage in a book, read a paragraph, again, read a poem, read a quote, and I'm surrounded by books. And I highly recommend that people really have that be their go-to place. Like, pick your favorite books, pick your favorite songs, that when you are feeling like what you just mentioned, like blocked, or you're feeling stagnant in your energy, go to something that inspires you. And I really make a concerted effort to surround myself with that.
Ora, authors will start out with a game plan for what they want the book to be and what they want the reader to take away from that book. They write the book, and somewhere along the way, in your spirit of not just or, there's a yes and thing going on, that you might have actually come up with a different takeaway as the finished product came out. Did that happen with Live True? And if it did, what is the takeaway you want readers to take most from this book?
I would say that the essence of it would be that you are worth showing up in your life for. You are special, you're unique, and that each and every person really owes it to themselves to be present with, another definition of mindfulness is being in the present moment with total awareness, acceptance, non-judgment, and what I like to say, the cherry on top is with self-love. Right. So I'd like to really have my reader take that as their takeaway, that they are worthy of showing up in the moment, being fully present. They're worthy of accepting themselves with non-judgment, and they are worthy of self-love.
Ora Nadrich, right on spot, right on the money. We're going to keep this focused, this conversation, as mindful as possible and not go too far away so people can live in the moment and they could check out this amazing book. We will put all the links and places where people can find it. And I am appreciative of your time and spending and being present in the moment here with you here on Authors That Thrive.
Thank you, Lou, for having me.
Thank you for listening to Authors That Thrive, brought to you by Bedside Reading. To learn more about today's guest head on over to bedsidereading.com. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts, or follow us everywhere on social media at Bedside Reading.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.